Hey, welcome to the Blue Jay Banner postgame show. We're live here at Let It Fly after a crushing loss to St. John's with a chance to really pave our way to the Big East title now. It's going to be a little more difficult, but there's still a chance. We'll talk about that later. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're growing every day, and we really love it when you do use the chat feature. It's an afternoon game, so jump on. Give us your chats. We like your questions, your comments. I'm sure you have. There was a lot of people in here screaming and yelling. I don't know if they could hear over me screaming and yelling, but maybe there were, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. We're gonna have our regular features. Unsung Hero, worst call of the night. Want to thank our sponsors, CareMinders Home Health Care and Discount Window and Door of Omaha. Well, positive is that last bucket there covered the point spread by half point.
My positive is they got a week off,
Yeah.
Needed. Much needed.
Well, they have a week off, and the schedule really lightens up.
Yep.
Really.
But not to say I think it actually picks up for us, right?
Well, Georgetown,
losses that I don't think
we're going to be ready to play Georgetown.
I just think we're just going to be ready to finish out the rest of the season.
But, I mean, when you're playing DePaul and Butler at home, those are –
They are, but we saw what just happened to UConn, right? We just saw that. We just saw this.
Yeah. But
we saw this, Tim.
May have been the ugliest basketball game I've ever seen. Wow. But here's the deal.
We're capable.
Here's the deal. What I'm saying is we're playing those teams like Butler, DePaul.
Yep.
Win by 20, you can sit Ashworth and Kalkbrenner on the bench for a significant amount of time.
Fair.
Get more rest. So when you have to go into Xavier, you're ready to go.
Yep. I think we'll see Fedor get a little more run this time. King might actually start this next game, possibly.
I actually wanted to see Fedor get some more run today.
Yeah. Jason was playing amazing. And I hate to jump to it early, but yeah, Jason. I think we'll bring Jason up later. I know he made it right at the cusp, but he did some good things today.
Jason did? Oh, yeah.
He did a lot of great things.
Where would we have been without him today? And seriously.
Yeah, just his presence and where he was on both sides of the ball. I think he finally looked kind of how everybody was expecting him to start the season.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about, but I mean, I'm going to start. My God, you just can't give up that many rebounds on free throws. That's just ridiculous. Once in a while, I'm okay. Long threes, they bound around, go different directions. Nobody's there, or an air ball, toughest rebound at all to get.
Yeah.
But my God, you've got to get the rebound on free throws.
Got to. A lot of that, too.
And those ones at the end were painful to watch. I mean, it's just – now, look, we're gonna get turnovers, too. And – Ashworth missing some threes, and God, missing 2 free throws today. Yeah. But again, like Chet said all year, he's playing 40 minutes and going like a million miles an hour.
Yep, moving around the ball, generally guarding one of the best players on the other end.
Yeah.
A lot of effort being put out.
And I told some people on the Blue Jay Banner message board, too, during the game, I said, the guy was like, God, Chet and his passes, da-da-da-da. And I said, or Ashworth and his passes. And I said, well, Chet's been saying all year, when you're a smaller point guard, it's hard to see. And I said the trade-off is you got an Energizer Bunny out there who can, when you're smaller, you can go all day long. You're generally a better shooter. You can, there's trade-offs, right?
Right.
So.
But some of those, I just think some of those are fatigue as well.
I think so,
kind of
too.
how Trout said, trying to hit that home run all the time, is it necessary?
No, we didn't do that as much today.
We didn't because we started having turnovers. Granted, we were getting out and running, and we were catching some over the top, but there weren't as many as those just.
Remember Jemiah going
passes?
I think we're taking too many chances on that. Did you see the one time? I believe it was in the first half. He got it across almost a half court, and he almost like he was going to stop it, and then he caught himself in it. No, I'm not doing it. But I loved what we did today, though. That's how you beat somebody with the press. Because, and you notice they kind of backed off from that full trapping because we were making them pay time and time again.
Yeah.
Mac ran some beautiful plays to get Jason wide open and Neal wide open.
Ash really just has his head up a lot, and I think that we lose credit in that too. And so some of that does come with turnovers. But you know, he does a great job of just seeing the court, seeing the guys up the court, and willing to pass it.
But, God, we got it. You know, like we were just talking. How many offensive rebounds they have? 15?
18.
18.
To our 9.
I'm okay if we give them 8.
Kadari there was at one point where he had those 3 back-to-back at a critical point, and then Lewis got fouled there on the fourth.
And again, that could be you got Kalk, who's, you know, playing on one leg, and you got Ashworth fatigued out there and Neal fatigued, right? But, yeah, I'm okay with 8 or 10 against a team like St. John's. Now, a different team when we play Butler, no, we can't give up offensive rebounds. But what frustrates me is we talked to the coaches. They were going to work on that. And it just didn't. And I know it's hard to replicate St. John's, okay?
It is, but it's will at the end of the day, right? It's effort. Those are things you can control.
So exactly.
And, like, I know Gordy was in there a couple of those days. We had a couple of those spirited ones with Gordy. But it's just you have to want the ball, you know, at the end of the day. And, like, to your point, that last one in Kalk there, whether he's injured or not, you got to go get the ball.
So it's
pretty simple. And I think they know that, right?
And there's some, you know, to your point about Kalk, too, there's some games where you see him right off the first 3-4 minutes. You're like, okay, we got real Kalk today.
Yeah.
You know, he's more aggressive. Yep. You can tell he's getting rebounds. Today, right off the get-go, I'm like,
He's married now, though, man. He's got a lot more on his plate.
Well, I don't care.
This is first year of marriage, right?
Not an excuse.
I'm just saying. It's a different game right now, and they got a lot on their plate.
He doesn't get going. This will be the last year he gets paid doing basketball. You know, he just got to. And then Fred has been really good off the bench this year. Really good. I've complimented him so many times.
Absolutely.
Today didn't bring his best. When he played his best when he knew Kalk was out, then he was like, all right, full steam ahead. But, you know, Jesus, God.
It's a different stage, though. It is a different stage. So, you're playing at the Garden, right? Historical place.
I know,
different
but
environment.
Fred, Ashworth, they've all played there before.
I mean, but the game had a lot of meaning.
Guy who had played there was Neal, and Neal played great
game
today.
Had a lot of meaning.
Neal played great today.
Green played great.
Green played great. Green played there before.
I mean, it was a. I enjoyed it. It was a good game. Great game, honestly. I thought it was a great game.
It was.
I think we beat ourselves. I
don't feel bad the fact that Kalk had to sit out for 10 minutes or whatever it was, and the fact that, you know, geez, we didn't hit hardly any threes in the second half.
Hit any threes.
Other than Ash, it was the only one, really.
Yep. And we hit a rough patch there for about 6 minutes where we didn't get it. We didn't get anything up at the rim either. Really. That's
usually what St. John's does.
Yeah.
Has those 4 or 5 minute gaps. I thought Ashworth played super today. I thought right off the get go, man, he was grabbing rebounds and pushing the ball. And for a while there, they couldn't stop him in the half court.
Yeah, he was
aggressive. Taking it right at him.
Coming off that 2-man game, he was just being aggressive today. He knew he had to be, you know, a threat.
So let's get to the chat right away because we are filling up fast. All right. So first of all, Andrew goes, "What a disappointment this team has been lately." It's 2 losses, man. I mean, 2 losses against UConn and the #1 team in the conference. Okay, that's not at their place. So it's not
after just winning 10 in a row.
Yeah, so it's not 9 in a row or whatever. Yeah, it's not.
That's always what you've done for me lately. But,
this is you know, after dealing with bracketology for the last 4 or 5 days straight. This is what happens. Somebody loses a. You know, I did it on my Sweet 16 reveal. I had Wisconsin at 11, which is where the committee had them, and then they lost the game and. The other teams won, and I pushed them all the way down. Yeah, just you can't overreact to 1 game or 2 games. You got to let it play out, right? And this is against a good. Now everything flips around. Okay, now we're done with that stretch. Okay.
But to his point, these are games that we felt we should have won.
I think Mac. I'm interested to hear Mac today. You know, if he thinks this was a game we gave away again.
I believe it. I think it's a game we beat ourselves, hands down.
Because we were going toe to toe with them, and they brought their best stuff. Offensively,
they did.
I think one of the better offensive games.
Smith, honestly, coming off the bench, works better for them.
He was injured too,
and I think I think that him fitting him back into the rotation, but coming off the bench and you know actually having Wilcher to more or less defend. I think
Wilcher had a terrible game today, but he got in foul trouble, which was big because they didn't hit that many threes. But again, that was one of the better offensive games I've seen him play this year.
Yep.
Well, here's a statement, Jays fans. Here's a statement from BJ's that we have never uttered yet this season. Here it is. Miller needs to play over Trout.
Wow.
Usually it's the other way around. Like, why is it Trout over Miller, right? Interesting enough, Mason Miller didn't play today.
Yeah. I just think that goes back to Green, right? He played 31 plus minutes. Generally, he's playing around the 17 mark. Yeah. So then you're finding these other, these other pockets.
And Isaac wasn't hitting shots and wasn't getting that many rebounds and was getting kind of beat on defense.
Right. So I think, Kadari, we've kind of marked Green up as our Kadari stopper or that type of player, that stopper. So I just think it was more of a matchup thing today rather than, the actual guys. And then he got to go on earlier, which works well for the way he has those fours rotating.
Barry says we still played with heart.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, that rebounding.
But yeah, that's when that was demoralizing at the end there.
I've said this a million times, but back when I was in college, up in Minnesota, a small college, the head basketball coach was Dave Shaws. He was a 2-time All Big Ten, and I think he was All-American one year at Purdue. He led the country in rebounding. He said, and he was 6'5". Now, this is back in the 60s, okay? So, yeah, but still 6'5" was small to lead the country in rebounding, right? He said, look, you just like you said. That's exactly what he said. Because I asked him, I said, what's the key? I mean, the boxing, he goes, you just got to want that ball more than the other guy. And he goes, the reason I led the country in rebounding was every time that ball went up off the rim, I wanted to get that rebound because if I didn't, my teammates had the same attitude as I did.
Right.
And if I didn't get it, they were going to get it, and I was going to get 4 rebounds a game instead of 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He goes, I wasn't padding stats. I'm just telling the honest to God truth.
Yep.
And he goes, that's the kind of attitude you got to get. And I think what's growing here, and Donnie Marshall alluded to it, is Jason Green. He's starting to get that attitude, like, I'm going to get the ball. I'm just going to go get the ball. And that's why he's getting so many offensive rebounds.
Yep.
He's not worrying about boxing out or any of that crap.
He's trying to find his niche and his role, right? And I think he's finally buying into it. So that's cool to see. And also Ash, he's kind of lurking around there too and kind of picking up some loose ones here and there. So I don't know. It's a pivotal point, definitely for where we are and where we're trying to get to. But that's something we got to wrap our head around, as a team here.
Andrew says the last 2 games are so winnable. He's the guy that mentioned disappointment. Not to mention they're fighting for a title. Yeah, we get they're fighting for a title. They know they're fighting for a title. We've already talked that we thought, these last two were winnable. Now, to be fair, you're not gonna win every game. You just don't. Things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
All you got to do is
doesn't work that way.
Ask Mr. Hurley.
Yeah, doesn't work that way.
Yesterday, look what happened yesterday.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
First, the regulation. So I flipped it on at halftime. I'm like, whoa, we got a game here. I flip it on, and it's 58, and I had to get in the shower because we're going somewhere. So I'm like, okay, I can't. My wife's taking a nap. She's going to want to get up. I got to get done, right? It's 58, 55. The game's over. 12 seconds. They have the ball. They're not going to lose this. I get out of the shower. I look at my phone. And I'm like, wait a minute. UConn game's at the top of my scores. What the hell? And I go, oh, are you kidding me? It went to overtime? And it was 68, 63. I thought, they're not going to win. I go up, flick on the TV, and there you go. I mean, incredible.
It's just still the Big East, right? So you got to think there's still players on the other side. They just might not be playing.
I got to get this out because I'm dying to say this. I don't know if you saw this. Pat Forty, national writer, writes mostly football but covers all sports. He spent a ton of time in Omaha because his daughter was trying out for the Olympics, and she made the team one year.
Okay.
So he'd always come for the tryouts here and stuff. Loved Omaha. Used to talk about it on national radio and stuff. After what happened Tuesday night when Danny walked off the thing and goes, hey, Baldy, I got 2 rings. Pat tweets out, well, it looks like Danny 2 rings is going to hang on here and defeat 1 win Seton Hall. And then 30 minutes later he goes, update, Danny 2 rings lost to 2 wins Seton Hall. I thought, oh, man, that was great trolling right
Karma's
there.
fast.
Great trolling.
Karma's fast. Humble pie, man.
Mary said Ash got hip checked and beat up. Absolutely, he got. I probably saw 10 fouls in Ashworth that weren't called today.
I think that's
how about
the
that
norm,
one at the end when the guy damn near knocked him to the floor?
I think that's the norm, though. I don't think I know that's the norm.
You know,
especially when you're a smaller guard and somebody who moves as fast as he does. You can make a case that he probably gets fouled 9 out of 10 times.
No, but today was the worst.
It was,
for him
but I just think
contact.
that's a lot. We just
no,
paid
but
more attention
when
to
when you're dribbling the ball and you get knocked 10 feet and the ref doesn't call it, that's BS.
But you got to think too. We had 21 personal fouls. They had 19.
I know it.
So clearly we were doing the same thing on the other end, and maybe it was just.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
we weren't as physical as that. I don't know about that. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying we don't foul and we had 21 fouls.
Yeah.
So that's saying something.
I think it's just a physical game.
I didn't see us knocking anybody around. And, Ashworth, I'm iffy on that charge call, block charge.
That was it was a block.
I thought so too. The replay
he
when I saw it, he moved just a little bit.
His feet were set, but he tried to slide over a little bit.
When you're in that situation, even if the guy moves a little bit, if you just stand still and he hits you, the ref's more likely to give it to you than if you're trying to shuffle a little
square,
bit.
Yeah. But the way he had Euro'd around it, he wasn't going to hit him square on, I think questionable, though, was that travel on Fedor. That's right when we were trying to get over this hump.
I thought he traveled.
I don't think so. He had it was more of that Euro travel, so I guess
I don't
whatever.
know nowadays. There's so many travels.
You got to put 2 hands on it.
I mean, back in my day, Jemiah would have traveled on that dunk.
Yeah,
that was like 3 steps.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They don't call it.
But it's on the gather. It's on the gather.
Yeah. Mary said Green played tough and hustled. Absolutely, he did. BJ says too much dribbling. I thought there were times in our offensive set Ashworth had too much dribbling. He's got the ball and he's trying to make things happen. I get that. But sometimes, especially when he's got Smith on guarding him, okay? Smith's a tough defender. Unless he's got the screen, he needs to dish it to Jemiah. Let Jemiah go to work. Rather than just sit out and dribble in, dribble out, that's just taking more energy away from him. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that, but as a playmaker, you're comfortable with the ball in hand, and generally, I'd probably feel a lot more comfortable with him than ball 90% of the time, than Jemiah playing.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do you think we could go Fedor and Jemiah for a 2-minute stretch?
Not yet.
And not tie?
We haven't seen it yet, so I don't think so. I think we might
Ty
see.
Came in and got a.
We might see it in these next 2 games.
It was an aggressive move, but he did shove off with the arm.
We might see it these next 2 games. To your point, of them trying to work that matchup in. I don't know if that chemistry is there though.
Mary says, "Breathe, guys. St. John's D interfered with timing just enough." Well, they do that to everyone. I mean, you can say, "Oh, well, their defense was too tough." Well, then, I guess we shouldn't expect to win then.
Yeah. But it wasn't just.
Other teams get shots against them, and I thought the first half we got pretty much everything we wanted.
I would say that. I just think it's their second guy. Their second defender is always running on that backside. Plus, they bring more defenders off the
bench too.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, and they have fresh legs in a way, so they have some athletes that second guy is more or less getting the block, not the guy actually on ball.
I thought in the first half I was like, wow, we're getting pretty much everything we want here. And then the second half, I don't know what happened. We just, again, like I said, I think there was more dribbling. They may have made a defensive adjustment. I don't know. But
a lot more dribbling, but we weren't hitting shots. So I think he was trying to get down and, trying to get as much as he could downhill, but they're good to sticking the guys. So then there's nothing really there. He doesn't really want to go inside. They'd kind of figure things out, too, at the rim. So they got a tough defensive scheme, Yeah.
And let's face it.
They're long.
When Kalk's not being a guy inside and scoring, and then
makes things tough.
Yeah, they were 4-on-5 offensively, basically.
And they weren't scared of Kalk either. That's the thing.
That's the other thing
and I think that kind of
Kalk's got. If Kalk hits some of those shots, then they have to more come in with doubles.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there was a couple like he had a couple dunks and got downhill on him, but man, all right. Let's talk about one of our sponsors, CareMinders Home Health Care. Been a sponsor all year and last year, and we thank them so much. When you're in need of care for your injured ill loved one, Make sure you reach out to CareMinders Home Health Care. Their agency is comprised of certified caregivers who have many years of experience. You will receive versatile, flexible, and customized care for your comfort, peace of mind, and well-being. I can speak to this for my own family right now. My mother-in-law probably needs some sort of home care, and she's not in this area. She's across the country. But, you know, gee, it would have been nice if we had looked at this 10 years ago and figured out what our options were and what to do, right? So what you can do right now is go to caremindersnebraska.com and look at all that stuff. So when the time comes, you're ready to go. And then you can give them a call, 402-532-1383. That's 402-532-1383. That's CareMinders Home Health Care. They're showing highlights right now, and they're done already. Look, we said coming in here, this was going to be tough to win all three. It was going to be just tough winning two, frankly.
Yeah, yeah. But all in our control, and I think that's why they feel so bad.
Yeah, but guess what? It isn't in our control now, but it kind of still is.
Yeah.
Okay? Because here's the deal. UConn has to go to Marquette. Look, Marquette, that crowd is going to be lit for that game. Okay, because they didn't play very well against St. John's at all. And again, St. John's made them look bad. All right?
Yep.
So they're going to be up for that game. So that's a losable game. That's a game they can lose, right?
Fair.
We just saw Wednesday night they lost, right, to Villanova. And then they have to go back home, and UConn comes in. Now, all right,
they're at the Garden.
Right, but let's wipe away yesterday, okay? I'm telling you, that Garden will be 70% UConn fans. They will buy up all the tickets. They probably already have. They probably bought them back in November. Maybe not 70. Maybe more 50-50. Big East tournament, it's 70% UConn fans, okay? So I bet you it'd be 50-50. They will buy up tickets, and they will be there, and it'll be more of a neutral site game, all right? So their home court is taken away a little bit. And I don't think UConn is afraid of playing in the Garden, okay? They've been there many a time, all right? So they're going to be ready for that one, all right? They weren't ready yesterday. That was a hangover from the Creighton game, no doubt about it. So at any rate, there's two losable games. Now, let's see who else they have on the schedule here. All right, so they have UConn. We mentioned that. They have Marquette. Sneaky one would be at Butler.
Yeah.
Butler has risen up at home a few times.
Yeah.
They fell short, but they've got teams really great games.
8 p.m., though. I feel like it's always that noon game where they're
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That sunlight coming through.
So that's a two. Then they have at DePaul and then Seton Hall. Although I guess you could say if they lose. Oh, this is St. John's, though. This is St. John's. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of UConn, but I'm thinking if UConn lost at Seton Hall, I guess St. John's could lose at DePaul, right? But anyway, so they still could lose that. Okay, so that's two losses. So then they would be tied with us if we have to run the table. Don't get me wrong. We have to run the table. But if that happens, we run the table, they lose those two games, it would be, and Marquette wins out, although Marquette has some games left too, some tough games. They've got Providence, at Georgetown, at Villanova. So they're not done. There's some stumble opportunities there too, okay?
Yeah.
But forget about all that. If Marquette would win two, there'd be a three-way tie. Okay, then it goes down through the standings. So all four teams would have beaten each other. So there wouldn't be any break there. So they go down to the next team in line. Okay. Well, that's Providence is still in the hunt, but that's probably going to be, and it doesn't matter because we've already swept Providence, but that next team is either going to be Xavier or Villanova. Those teams have lost to Xavier and Villanova. We would be champs.
It's a lot of magic.
No, it's not. It's just us winning.
I know.
We are going to be favored in 4 of those 5 games.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
These other teams don't have to play, though.
Right, but just UConn.
So if St. John's
UConn and Marquette
wins
those
John's
2 games.
finishes out.
2 games. That's what we're talking about. St. John's loses to Marquette.
Right.
St. John's loses to UConn. Very possible.
All right.
We're not saying, oh, geez, they got to lose 4 of the next 5.
I hear it. I hear it.
Okay.
I hear it.
So it's still all there. Now, let's say that doesn't happen. It's still all there to win the Big East title because the championship, that tournament, these 4 teams, I got them all even. I don't think anybody has an advantage. You can say St. John's maybe has a little advantage because they're with their defense, but these other teams have all played them twice now, so they know what they're going to be facing. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to say, hey, don't let Richmond drive. Let them shoot that 3. Stuff like that. Okay. So I think I think it's really a toss-up, and then you've got the wild cards of Xavier and I don't want to say Providence, even though they absolutely whomped Villanova last night.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they can look really good.
Yep.
But more so Xavier and Villanova, those are upset possibilities, right?
Yep.
Villanova's 5, they would play the number 1 seed on that semifinal night. Xavier 6 would play one of the teams there. So everything's still there. Everything's still up. And you'd want to kind of finish the higher. You'd want to finish. 2, you would play. If you were 2nd seed, you would probably play Providence in our scenario. 3 seed, you're probably going to play Xavier or Villanova. So I'd probably rather play Providence.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, although Providence brings a tons of fans too, it might be better to play
Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah, they bring some energy.
Might be better to play Xavier. It'd be more of a neutral side game. But at any rate, we still have those things going.
That's fair.
All right, let's go back to chat. Mary says, disagree. Call's not even on a degree of impact. If we don't come up bleeding, it's a no call.
I wouldn't say that. We go all year without fouling, man. We can't.
Yeah, we live on reputation a little bit.
Yeah.
On some of that.
Yeah, we get benefit of the doubt.
I thought the one, let's move right into worst calls since we're talking about this. This is an obscure one because we're already down 5 or 6. Jason Green reached in, and they called a foul on that. They hadn't called that foul all day long, and Jason was ticked. Jason usually doesn't show much emotion on a foul. He'll just be like, all right, a foul. That you could tell he did not. He got all ball there when he reached in when the guy was in the lane.
I hear you.
And I thought, come on, man, you haven't called that all day long on either side. Now you're going to call it? What was your worst call? There's a lot to pick from today.
There is. I'm
Tony,
still going with that travel, man.
Although I didn't see him involved in a lot of the worst calls, we had Mac's favorite ref, Tony Chiazza, there today. His only other favorite rep is High Knees, but High Knees can't.
Oh, yeah.
High Knees has been. They put an edict out. He can't ref any more Creighton games. Mac just told Val, I don't ever want to see him again.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he does. I don't even think he does Big East anymore. I haven't seen him do Big East.
I've seen him a lot of other
he
places.
does other conferences.
Yeah.
I don't think he does Big East anymore.
Yeah.
I think they kind of said, you're gone. Because Matt probably wasn't the only one that complained about it.
Yeah.
But Chiazza is the guy. I know the whole staff does not like it. But he wasn't involved. It was more the dude we had here who, Tony, I think is his name, who we had here, who made bad calls in the Marquette. Oh, I think he was here for the UConn game. And, yeah. Anyway, what did you say?
I'm still going with that travel.
Really?
I watched it.
I'll have to watch that again.
It's on the gather. But also, it was a pivotal point in the game. Calk had been out for a little bit. We had a couple possessions, no shot. Fedora, I think, was finally starting to get comfortable, get a little sweat going. And I think it just took his confidence away, just right then and there, personally, as far as like a player would go. But
Andrew says, question, and he points up. Last 2 games are so annoying, not to mention, I don't know.
There was one in the first I'm drawing.
BJ says, with the type of program we want to be, this was a must-win. Well, yeah, but you got to have expectations, right? Like if this was last year's team, yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We lose Pop, a guy that was going to be an integral part of our team.
Yep.
And so when that happened, if I told you right now we were battling for a chance to have a clear path to win the Big East title, you'd went, what?
Right.
Okay? We're still ahead of the curve here, all right? So just trust Mac.
Go back to
I
November.
keep telling people that. I still remember one of the guys on the message board this year finally said, you know, I don't know why we don't listen to Tim when he says, everybody relax, trust Mac.
It's like the market, right?
You know, yep.
Just ride
Absolutely.
it. Be steady.
Coach Mac saving timeouts for next game also. There was one spot I thought he should have called timeout. He didn't, and then we scored on the next possession.
No,
So
he likes using the TVs, man, and he doesn't really use them unless he direly needs to. And I just think with this team, he doesn't really need to.
He used one when we got down 7 there.
Yeah.
When Kalk was out,
But I think he was talking to some other individuals, and when he has a message he wants to get across, but not generally to coach up the guys.
Yeah, he'll use them to stop runs, like I said, he did today when they got up 7. But there was one time where he said, "Oh, I think he needs timeout," and he didn't when we scored, cut it to 4, so we're right back in the game. But yeah, I know that's been a big complaint of Mac over the years. They don't think he calls enough timeouts, but he likes his teams to play through this stuff.
Yeah. I think as a player that messes up your rhythm and your momentum.
Yeah,
a lot of the times I don't like it.
Mary's got the right attitude. I'm so proud of my Jays hanging near the top. I am too.
Yeah.
Now we got to finish this thing out. If we finish this thing out, even if St. John's wins those 2 games, then we're in second.
Yeah. Which it's still in bad, considering the circumstances. Like we said, no pop, just kind of figuring things out on the fly the way we did. I like it.
We drop a very bad one at home to a struggling UConn team. That UConn team was not struggling. That was McNeely's second game back.
And they're 2-time defending national champs.
Yeah, I mean, they got some studs, and McNeely's a stud. They just totally overlooked Seton Hall yesterday. What happened yesterday was 3 things. 1, they totally overlooked Seton Hall. 2, at one point in the second half, they were 2 of 19 from 3.
Yeah.
If they would have been 2 of 19, 3 against us, we're rolling through that game.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Number 3, Seton Hall watched our game, and they said, you know what, McNeely, we're going to double you. We're going to do everything we can to keep you from scoring. And they put a bigger physical guy on him, which happened. The other thing they did was they didn't quit. And 4th, it wasn't so much UConn struggle. They just gave that game away. And why they gave that game away is we talked about it. Diarra is injured now.
Right.
He's still playing, but he's a shell of himself.
Yeah.
So they're going with McNeely at point guard.
Yep.
That came back to bite them yesterday. They couldn't get the ball in bounds.
No chemistry still, I don't believe, from
they
that.
They threw some passes like were 10 feet from a guy, and they went out of bounds.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's big. That'd be like if we sat Ash and put, like we were mentioning before, right now.
Right now. I don't know if I trust that.
So I don't know how. I mean, again, they just came off this 3-game stretch like we did. So
they're still figuring out their pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like they were struggling that much. Yeah, they lost some games, but everybody's going to lose, as you're seeing. Everybody's going to lose through that stretch. Marquette lost to St. John's, and then they lost another one to Xavier. I mean, we haven't lost to those middle teams. And like I said, that's looking big for us as far as those tiebreakers go.
Absolutely. I think we learned, some hard lessons early on in the year that hopefully don't come back and bite us. But, yeah, handling business.
Hey, let's talk about our friends over at Discount Window and Door of Omaha. We appreciate them so much. I've got windows from them, and they've done a fabulous job for me. They will come out through the whole process. Setup. They'll show you everything they got. They'll tell you everything exactly like they're going to do, and they do not vary from that 1 second. Then the installers come out. They measure again the second time to make sure everything's perfect. They come out, and your windows are up, and they are out of there in no time. And then they'll follow up with you to make sure everything is perfect in your house. I couldn't be happier with them. They have a trusted reputation with years of industry experience. They have reliable service, quality products, and unmatched professionalism from start to finish. So give them a call, 402-884-8989. That's 402-884-8989. And tell them Blue Jay Banners sent you. We'd appreciate it. Who's your unsung hero today? And it can't be Jason. He was a star.
Makes it tough then. You know,
It's not supposed to be easy.
I know minutes are thin though, so it's like it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. You know, I'm gonna go with Trout. He about used all his fouls. Came in and got some rebounds, knocked down one. You know, you could always go for Dort. You just intermix those two. I think. But it's tough. I think this was tough. There wasn't too many big bench contributors for this game.
Yeah, there wasn't. I'm just going to go way out there. Not necessarily, but, you know, Fred had to come in a tough time.
Yep.
And held for it. We actually made a run when he was in there.
Yep.
You know?
Then he had that block, and then
yeah. Oh, that was a big block. Yeah.
Huge block.
Now, if he made his free throws, it would have been bigger.
Yeah.
But God, if Ash, you know, that was 4 points we left on the table with Ash missing those that are usually automatics.
Mm-hmm. We just look a lot different with Fred out there, man, and I just think that's a different dynamic too. That
I was
takes a
actually
little bit
really
getting used
happy to see him block that because he hasn't really shown that rim protection. Now that's on film, right?
Right.
By the way, if the day wasn't bad enough, our Husker friends came back from 18 down in the second half to beat Northwestern.
Nice.
They were going to be in trouble.
That's one of those losses I was talking about. I like that.
If they were going to lose that game, they would have been back really squarely on the edge of the bubble to fall off. But now they're safe. Well, I tell you what, the bubble is so bad right now. I had to kick out Indiana because they lost again. Okay. And I pushed out Vanderbilt out of the SEC because when I started looking at it, I'm like, yeah, man, they don't have enough they haven't beat anybody away from home and so forth because they've lost about 3 in a row. So I'm like, well, who can I add? I'm going down the list. I'm looking at every team and magnifying glass. Like, there is nobody here. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, oh my God, you're gonna die. Who I put in? One of the teams I'm gonna put in is Xavier. They're gonna go back in. They're 16-10 right now. Right. And one of my bracketology buddies goes, you know, Tim, you always say about winning, you know, you don't think committee just values winning on its base enough. They're 16-10. They've won 16 games in the Big East, playing in the Big East. And they played a decent non-conference schedule. They beat some of the other bubble teams that are around, so whatever.
Yeah. Yep. They still got some, you know, some to go
Mary
through.
says, bingo on the call on Jason. One of the stars today. All right. Okay, want to talk about, by the way, you can see my bracketology at bracketbill.wordpress.com. I usually say bracketbill.com just because it goes off, but you got to put the WordPress in there. All right, Thursday night, I need Blue Jay Nation, I need your help. And I shouldn't even have to beg you to come to this because the last one we had there was outstanding, was it not?
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So we're sorry we're talking about this for 2 weeks, but last time I think we talked about it for a month because it was a little more difficult to put this one together because we got a lot of moving pieces. We got 2 teams to worry about. But we're going to have a huge event out at Infusion Brewing again. They're going to have drink specials all night long. The pizza's going to be there again, so you can buy pizza. It's great pizza. Everybody raved about it. And then this time we're going to get the outstanding women's team that is just smoking right now, all right? So we're going to have I don't want to say 2 best, but 2 of the better players on the team. Lauren Jensen and Morgan Malley are going to join us, probably 2 candidates to be all Big East first team.
Nice. They're
going to join us, as well as some of the coaches. Hoping we can get Coach Flan to join us. And then Isaac Trout from the men's team will be there. And I think you'll enjoy Isaac. Kind of has this quiet demeanor, but when you start talking to Isaac, he's very open. Like, he wants to talk. If anybody out there has got a diabetic in their family or so forth, Isaac likes to talk about that and reinforce what can be done fighting that disease. And he's just a great guy to talk to. And then are you going to be able to make it?
We'll see. Yeah.
Because it would be great if you and I, got a little chatter with Trout over this golf match.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I'm there for that.
Yeah, no.
I'm there for that.
I'd like to get a little chatter going.
There for that. We don't need the chatter anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just be there. See me on the green.
Oh no, we gotta kind of feel Isaac out for his handicap. He's been kind of
do that.
I have to do that. You guys aren't thinking you're gonna play scratch.
Well,
No, we're not. We're not playing scratch because you're bringing in ringers. I know these guys. I know AJ. I know Doug. Whoever you bring in, I know. All right? So.
That's fair.
I'm going to pull the – do you watch any of those?
I could pull – I'll go pull a straggler down here.
Well, you don't even know the format yet.
Wouldn't matter.
We haven't decided the format,
That's
frankly.
fair.
Have you watched any of the Grant Horvath videos?
Oh, yeah.
So did you watch one with Phil?
Yep.
The first time they played?
Yep.
And Phil goes, out of this lie, the ball seems to come out really soft, so he took a lesser degree wedge, and he flew it over the green by 20 yards, and Phil's laughing all the way. That's what I'm going to do to you at my club. I'm gonna give you all kinds of bad information.
That's fair. I don't listen to most people. I don't.
Well, it doesn't.
I got my own yardage book, and I probably have my own caddy.
Well, you don't have to have a yardage book. We got yardage on the carts, man.
No, I hear you. That might be wrong too.
They actually have a little green. They actually have green, like a green heat map on the carts too. So that helps a lot.
I've been a lot of places that was wrong, Tim. Give me bad information.
No, this is pretty accurate. And players is tough though because there are several greens where you think you're putting uphill and you're actually, because of the gravity, you're putting downhill. And that can fool you. But enough about golf. But we're trying to get through this week, and then it's going to warm up. All right? We're trying to get everybody through the cold. But anyway, back to Thursday. So we got that. We got Isaac Trout, and we'll have Creighton coaches there as well. We have we're going to have some Creighton women's coaches there as well, and Morgan Malley and Lauren Jensen there. Austin Chapman, Creighton legend. He'll sign stuff for you. Bring throwback #1 jerseys. He'll sign them.
The original.
Yeah. And then we'll, and then forgetting about RTI Threads. RTI Threads is going to be there.
Yep.
They're going to be there, and they're going to have all the merchandise just like they did last time, so you can buy it. We'll have tables set up for Morgan and Lauren and for Isaac. Great gifts, right? So anyway, all that going on Thursday. Starts at 5:30, goes till 9. We're going to have, like I said, if you haven't been in Fusion, it's a great place. They got great beer. You can anything. They've got 1 million taps set up of all the beers they brew, and you're going to be so impressed. So that's Thursday night, 5:30. There's no charge, but we do ask that you go to our Twitter and you'll see like a Google invite so that we can get kind of an idea of that. And that's the VIP RSVP. Oh, yeah. If you sign up that way, then you're going to get some perks, and we'll let you know when we get there. Plus, if that wasn't enough already, we're going to have tons of giveaways as well. So there we go. Going to have gift cards. Some
peanut gallery for this golf tournament or what?
What's that?
Some peanut gallery tickets for this tournament, this match?
We could maybe set that up. We could maybe set that up.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So they could be like marshals.
Yeah, something like it.
You know?
I need somebody to watch you, Jim. That's good stuff.
My regular partner is the biggest rules Nazi of all time. He knows every rule. So
I like that.
It's just like,
I like sticklers.
You know, it just a friendly Saturday match, you know, whatever. He'll be like, hey, Tim, I just want to tell you. And he knows I'm upset because I did something. He goes, you couldn't drop it there. You had to drop it over.
Yeah.
Jesus, God, it's 5 feet over. Come on, man. Yeah. I've already taken a double here.
Right.
Oh, God, God.
That's good. That's good stuff.
He about explodes when we play in those Monday Nebraska Golf Association matches. These guys don't know the rules. He's just like, I don't want to be a dick, but. Hey, Mary said the refs gave us timeouts looking at every possible bit of film. You know.
Which they overturned one or two of those, right? One, for sure.
Well, I thought that one that went off Trout's foot. If you watch that replay closely, you could argue that there was no camera angle that didn't show that his hand could have touched the ball. And you already ruled it our ball. I thought that was, I'm not going to complain about it that we're down 6 at the time, but.
I got bad call. It was the one, and it was actually, it worked in I guess it worked in St. John. It would have worked in St. John's favor. So they came in through the lob, and I believe it ended up going off of Cox's chest and just going out of bounds. First half. I think they were trying to throw a lob to Kadari, and then everybody acted like it was just normal, and then went back the other way. Creighton ball.
I think it went off his shin. Is that the one?
It went off cock, though. It did, because I rewinded it, and I was like, I know that touched him.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yes,
and then they just went the other way, and I was like,
Donnie Marshall,
nobody.
Donnie Marshall goes, wait a minute, I think that went off.
Yeah, I was like, did nobody see that? You know, but
yeah, he touched it. Donnie had a good call at the end of the game too. Fedor touched that ball that went into the back court. That should have been over her back.
That's fair.
Those refs just
they
were just kind of on.
They were kind of there.
They were kind of like the game was overtaking them. You know what I mean? Like,
I think they knew it was going to be physical and not really knowing how to put their hands on it.
Anyway.
But who knows?
All right, so don't forget about Thursday night. Go to our Twitter account, @BlueJayBanner. You can go to Facebook. It's on there as well. Go to RTI Threads. They're pumping out stuff as well. So you will see it everywhere, and obviously at BlueJayBanner.com. Our next show, we're not going to have a show tomorrow. It's President's Day. We honor our presidents tomorrow, so we can't. We're going to be honoring them all day long.
Absolutely.
But we will be back with you in a week from today. A home game against Georgetown.
Yep.
Were you like me, like Tuesday to Sunday? It seemed like a year in between games. I can't imagine this week is going to really seem long.
Like as a player, you mean?
Well, as a player and both fans. Like, players are going to love it because they're going to get some rest here.
I don't know. You kind of like starting to play that NBA type schedule where you're playing pretty consistently. At this time in the season, you don't like practicing.
We talked to a couple of them. I know I talked to Ash about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait for that."
Ash needs a break.
Yeah, and Kalk needs a break.
Kalk needs a break, but some of these other guys, Trout and
they all need to
Fedor
go
and
get
all these,
some kind of
be
shots or something for their viruses.
Yeah, so vitamin C. They need,
they got to get over that.
They need to get some rest. Honestly, probably is what it is.
So, what are you suggesting? Put Kalk in a hotel away from his wife for the rest of the season? And then you kind of brought that up, sir.
It's his first year of marriage, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. She could be a great counterpart, but that's just what it is.
Hoops,
life's different. Like. But life is just different, right? Yeah. Tim, you know this. And I'm just saying, man, he's juggling a lot right now. He's juggling a lot.
All right, anyway, so we'll see you a week from today. Well, no, we won't. We'll see you Thursday night over at Envision. It's out in Southwest Omaha. Just look it up. I don't have the exact address right in front of me, but you can see it on Twitter, Facebook, BlueJayBanner.com. It's all there. And then we'll see you after the game a week from today. I think it's a 3 o'clock tip, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be here a little bit after 5. Come on down the show. They got us on the big screen right now. So check it out, and we will see you Thursday night.